Redditors who never want to have a child. What are your reasons? I enjoy money and silence. The silence. Oh God, the silence. I have a cousin whose kids never ever stop talking to her. Like literally, only when they're asleep. She'll visit me and we're having an adult conversation and they'll just be tapping her and saying, "Mum, Mummy," on repeat. She says she doesn't even hear them anymore. I could never. Was hanging out with my brother and his 3-year-old will start yelling, "Stop talking," louder and louder whenever we would start talking to each other. So f***ing annoying. Oof, that would not fly in this house. They're expensive, messy, loud, annoying, and gross. You have to spend about 20 years training them to hopefully become a functioning human. When you have a child, your life is no longer your life. It is their life. Every time you have to make plans or any sort of decision, you have to do it with the child being your primary concern. Of course, there are parents that don't do that. And screw those parents for doing that to a child that didn't ask to be made in the first place. You cannot be a selfish person if you have a child. It just doesn't work. Frankly, I couldn't fathom wanting children. And I'm grateful my missus seems to like them even less. I really dislike children. And everyone I know who has a kid seems absolutely miserable. Everything I like about my life would stop if I had a kid. Parents don't realize how much they complain about being parents. You all make it sound terrible. And as far as I can tell, most of you hate it and don't particularly like your children. It's especially hard on those kids being told they are unwanted. Lockdown was a good example. I saw so many parents getting angry at teachers and begging for schools to open, complaining how hard it was being at home with their children, the children they chose to have, neglecting them by shoving them in front of iPads all day so they didn't have to deal with them. I realized then that most parents seem to hate their kids and want to just send them off to school and forget about them or shove them in front of a device and let YouTube babysit them because they can't be bothered. It's sad to see, and I feel for their children. Don't have kids if you don't want to be around them, or if you're just going to shove them in front of a device all the time. I just don't want them. Also, they ruin your body, your mental health, your finances, your relationships, your free time, your house, which is basically your entire life. Hard pass on sacrificing the best 20 years of it. Raising kids, never mind pregnancy and childbirth, sounds soul-suckingly miserable, and just the state of the world as a whole. Everyone I know with kids is miserable and just pretends they're happy. True happiness is being able to do whatever you want, whenever you want, because you have no real obligations. Everyone I work with that makes the same amount of money asks me how I afford Porsches, Swiss watches, designer clothes, exotic vacations, etc. when they're just getting by. They all have kids. Then the next day they say, "Oh, having kids doesn't even cost me that much money." It's true delusion. I do want a child or two, but I'm so terrified of actually having one. What they do to women's bodies, their mind, emotions, and hormones, the risk of postpartum depression, and possibly having that for years or never going away at all, dying, giving birth. And all of that isn't even getting into the fear of passing down my autism, which guarantees the child will deal with bullies, feeling isolated from their peers, depression, and possibly feeling suicidal. I couldn't possibly bring a child into this world knowing all of that, when the reason I want a child is literally just because I want people to take care of. It's selfish as because I'm still very selfish with my time, and like it that way, honestly. Not a day goes by where my sister-in-law doesn't say she's overwhelmed or overstimulated by my nieces and nephews, so that also pushes me away from having kids. I like to sleep when I can, go go anywhere without having to worry about if my kid is going to have a meltdown, having extra money to spend on myself, or just to save for a rainy day. Especially going on vacation and actually getting to enjoy myself and leaving places when I want to, not because it's nap time for my child and they're throwing a fit. I have many friends that have kids, and they just seem exhausted all the time or stressed out. I'm sure at some point it may get easier, but I doubt it. Overall, I just enjoy my peace of mind and not have to live with the decision that I might have regretted later down the line. Married 9 years, no kids, both in our early 30s. You're going to see a lot of comments about more money, more free time, etc. That's all true. But the real benefit of not having children, or not having them immediately after getting married, is that you actually get to know the person you married. Spending a few years getting your act together and learning to live together is still a good idea, even if you're dead set on having children. I can't imagine getting married, buying a house, and having children all in the same year, but I have many friends who do exactly that, because I will not need to be taken care of in old age, and think that is a reprehensible reason to have them in the first place. Gestures at everything. But really, I'm not willing to destroy my body to bring a child into the world. I don't have a single maternal bone in my body. Seeing children does not make me coo or whatever. I don't want to hold them. If they cry around me, I don't know what to do. I find them completely uninteresting. Every single person I know my age, or around my age who have children, are stressed, depressed, and financially struggling. They're always complaining about being a parent, wishing they had more free time, etc. And I don't want to be that way. My husband and I are very career-driven and plan to retire early. We can't do that and have children and maintain our current lifestyle just overall. Not for me. And my husband feels the exact same way. There are moments when I want to strangle my cats, but I can lock them in their bedroom for a while, and no one is going to call CPS on me. Joking aside, I absolutely lack the mental health needed to be a parent. I won't subject a child to the potential of inheriting my mental issues, nor would I subject a child to mine. I'm a teacher, and I adore my students, but that's enough for me. I have no desire to have my own. I've never felt that need that so many of my friends have felt so strongly, and all children should be wanted. I simply don't want one bad enough, and I'm comfortable with that. Thanks for watching. We upload every day, so make sure to like and subscribe. Have a great day and see you in the next one.